Alright, I'm back. Forgot that when I took my dogs out, I forgot that I had unplugged my laptop and the battery died while I was away. So I came back and everything was shut off, so I had to restart the stream. And lost everything I had on the chart. So this was trade 1, E13. I remember I only got 7 ticks. And maybe we're looking for 2 legs down. It's not really what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to not get there and go back up. But I haven't been here to watch the market recently, so we'll see what happens here. So we're just ranging here. ATR's at 70. First attempt lower, second attempt lower. Just in the middle though. Looks like that would have been good for a long. Drop the shorts. Yeah, see, I do think this is going higher, but we'll see if we can break out of this. This is already off the table. I don't think that's legit. This maybe should have been more like this. Not clear. Looks like we are kind of just looking at 1 leg, 2 legs also. First close back above 50. 50 and the 200 are going to converge here. I think it squeezes it up, but we'll see. grab a drink, I'll be right back. So first attempt higher, first attempt lower. Got this like triangle happening between the two SMAs. A lot of support here along the session open so far, the 200. First time we're touching the 200 in a really long time. Since it broke out to the top side, came back and retested it once. This is a second retest. ATR is still about 70 ticks. All right, we're selling through it. So it was one leg up, two legs up. So I mean, there is potential. Something like this. But I'm still thinking we're going to go back up. So I don't know. It's hard for me to get bearish on this right now. It's starting to look more like a doji on the daily. First attempt to go up on the 15. I still think we're going to hold here and go back up. We'll see then. The first entry long, second entry long, but I don't really have a reason to think to go short necessarily. First entry, second. So there's a measured move. It's already gone the measured move. And going right into the Bollingers. Rejecting off the 200, but hasn't rejected yet. I don't have a clear context, so I can't take a trade. There's a failure here. It's all stacked up. And I don't really have a reason to think short necessarily. It's looking more and more like this measure move's not happening. And it's looking more and more like we are expecting a second leg down like this, which is surprising to me. I guess maybe I should consider this, but didn't cut right through the Bollinger like I like for those kinds of trades. And it was pretty stacked up side by side. I mean, rejecting off the 200 is the first time we're back at it, so I was kind of thinking we might close under and go back above. But at least I'm staying out of trades when I'm not sure what's going on. Getting a bounce off the New York Open price. Lower high potentially. ATR still 74 ticks. Break even. Just didn't like that wasn't pushing right away. Very little margin of room. There it goes, of course. Just break even trade. Lower high, but I didn't want to mess around with it too much because I knew I was very close to this resistance or support level. Yeah, there it goes. I wasn't even looking for that much, but I just wanted it to go. Yeah, exactly break even. All right, so I'm sitting on 2 trades. One I only took 7 ticks. This trade got out for break even. Would have ultimately worked out, but I knew I was dealing with this potential support here, so when it wasn't going right away, I just got out. It looks like it might be trapping shorts. I don't really have a legitimate trade for a long here, but I feel like it would work. So I'll have a potential bigger measured move down. I don't personally think we're going there, but let's see. Well, maybe we are going to just drip on down to this thing. I wish there wasn't this support level here, because I would have felt more secure to stick with it, but it seems like that's how it always is. Even on my trade up here, there's this level that I was worried about, and I got out for break even too quick, and then I got out for a small win because I entered too high. It was like entering right into that, so I only took 7 ticks there. Just need to set up with like plenty of room. I mean, this isn't like, it's more when the bodies are exactly even. So I should have just ignored it, but if I'm not getting a loss, I'll consider it a win. All right, so now we're just going right through the previous day's close. Went right through the New York Open, which I think is just about taking this bigger measure move up off the table. So I might as well forget that. Usually when it doesn't go for that measured move and it fails, and it usually goes further in the other direction. So Maybe we'll go 2 legs down and maybe even beyond that. Watch, I'm going to end up putting on that measured move to the top back on. It doesn't reach this measured move to the downside. So maybe feel a breakout down here. We're back above the opening price and previous close. Hey, R. How are you, man? How's it going? Going all right for me here today. Just, I've had a rough week, so I'm just being calm, cool, and collected. Not doing anything rash today. How's it going with you? Just trying to figure out where this market wants to go. I keep thinking we're going higher, but then the sell-off for the past hour was a little surprising for me. Quadruple R says, do you have 5 accounts? Yeah, these are my accounts. This is, I trade on Apex Trader Funding. So these are my 5 funded accounts. All of them are in decent shape. I mean, 3 of them are under starting balance, or 4 of them are under starting balance. This one is almost dead. I've only got less than 300 in drawdown. And this is the only one that's over the starting balance. But yeah, I have 5 funded accounts right now and struggling with them, trying to get to my first payout. Have yet to accomplish that feat yet. Kind of a... don't like it. Just trying to figure out if I can think about going along up here, but I'm not sure. Are you trading Do you trade on any prop firms? If this fails below, I might be interested in a short. I'm thinking long, so it'd be kind of weird to take a short. Quadruple R says, as I understand, all of them have lose. What do you mean? I'm not sure what. Maybe your English might not be your first language, but I'm not sure what you mean by all of them have lose. You think trading is not a profitable business? Yeah, I'd say for most people, trading is not a profitable business. I think that's true. It's definitely not profitable for me at this point. So I would not argue. I would not argue with you. Do you do any kind of trading since you feel that way? Have I lost much? Yeah, I've definitely lost much. I'm into this prop firm for $3,000. I've got no payouts, so I'm down $3,000 in my Apex experience. But I've got these 5 accounts, so each one of these accounts that I have, the first payout, I need to get the balance to 52,600. If I could get to 52,600, I can take 2,000 out. So basically, I just need to get my account over 52,600 2 times, and I'll be able to get my money back plus some. If I just do it 1 time out of these 5 accounts, then I'll get 2/3 of my money back. What about you? Have you traded? Have you lost money? And is that why you think that's not a profitable business? Because I know there are people that are profitable. I personally know people that have been profitable. So it's not impossible. It's just that more people are not profitable than they are profitable. I think most people quit before they figure out how to become profitable. So I'm just trying not to quit. Trying not to be a quitter. I still think we're going up. But we've got some resistance here with the 50 coming down. Check the 2-minute here. I don't know. It's not very clear, but we do have 2 legs down. So my guess is we don't reach this measured move and we work our way back up, which is kind of goes in line with what I was thinking originally the whole time anyway. So I won't be looking for shorts here. Quadruple R says, okay, we'll be back in 2 weeks to see if you would earn something. Yeah, you're welcome to drop by anytime you like. I'll tell you, I've been at this on Apex for a year and I haven't made any money. So unless things go really well in the next 2 weeks, I don't know that I'm going to be able to tell you that I've made money yet, but you never know. You never know. These 2 weeks might be my 2 weeks that I've been waiting for. It certainly wasn't the past 3 or 4 days, because I went on a bit of a losing streak this week, as you can see from my stats here. 5 wins, 13 losses, 28%. Not my best week, but as you can see for the year, 281 wins and 90 losses for 76%. So my win rate is at least usually much better than it has been this week. So I need to get back to winning. Will be a good start. So we'll see. And right now I'm only up $23 on one account for the day. So Obviously, I will have to do much better than that on a daily basis if I'm going to get to 52,600 on that account. So wish me much luck, please. Thank you. Short here, right at the 50. Are these equal highs? Yeah, equal highs. Not a setup I'm going to take like that. Not going short because I don't think we're going short. But price action says we're going short right now, so what do I know? All right, would have been a hell of a short, huh? It was 2 legs up. Short of 2 legs up. So short on this side, we were short on this side. It's not clear to me. And really trying to stick with just not taking a trade if I don't have a contextual reason for the trade. So maybe I could have said resistance at the 50 as a reason to take it. Sometimes I wonder if looking for these bigger moves throws me off, that I get too biased in a direction, and then when it doesn't get there, I get too biased and okay, we're not going there, so then it means the opposite thing. Maybe there's some of that going on. Brandon, welcome. Brandon says this week has been really choppy in price action. Lots of people not doing well. Yeah, I've noticed that too. I've been checking out other YouTubers, seeing a lot of people having a tough time this week, and I'll tell you, it's been a rough one for me for sure. Really rough. How you been doing, Brandon? Anything working out better for you today? Really tough week. I mean, I think just because we've been in such a bull market for so long, and then, you know, the sell-off has just been brutal, right? Just, I mean, really crazy sell-off days, and they've been like choppy sell-off days, like not like healthy trending sell-off days, or the one that was a trending sell-off day. It was still hard to play because it's just it like, I don't know, it's just hard to find entries, and you kind of just try to jump in, and then it would back up, take you out, and keep going. And yeah, so it's been a terrible week for me for sure. As bad as it's been, at least I've managed myself better. You know, I decided to stop trading all the accounts at the same time. So, you know, I never traded them all at the same time, but I always I've been copying 2 accounts at a time. So at least I decided to, like, yesterday just trade basically 1 account after my first 2 losses, and yeah, that really saved me from really just having a terrible day yesterday. So as bad as yesterday felt, it wasn't as terrible for my accounts as it could have been, and you know, they live to fight another day. Brandon says I was up 250 on 2 PAs today, and now I'm down 279 for the day. I'm sorry to hear that, man. It's frustrating when you start off well and then you give it back. But I mean, it's frustrating any which way when you're red, right? Because, you know, yesterday I started off with 2 losses, and it just sent me into like a tailspin of like not even trading my strategy. Like I literally just started taking entries based on no strategy, no kind of thoughtful analysis of why I was taking the trades I was taking. Just entering, and it was really a terrible experience. So, start off with losers and trying to get it back is terrible. Start off with winners and give it back feels terrible. But what are you supposed to do? It's like you get a couple wins under your belt, or a win, you make some money, you're up, and then you feel like, all right, let's keep this going. Let's keep it moving. And then if you get caught, it's frustrating. But yeah, these are just I just look at these as tough days. I mean, just for me, I feel like I was getting into a rhythm of how the market was moving as we were always being able to like come back from a sell-off, and the sell-offs were pretty mild, and we'd always end up moving back up. And so you can kind of find that rhythm and be looking for where to get back in on the longs. And now the longs are really tricky, and the shorts are just as tricky. So yeah, I don't think it's easy either way. Brandon says I do the same thing. Yeah. So here I had a new high. There's, I guess this was the high. First attempt higher, second attempt higher that failed. But it's going right into the previous day close. I don't trade into that. I mean, I guess the entry was below it, but then if you're looking, for me, I just see the support level here. So I'm not going to go short into that. There was another one right below it. So not feeling shorts. I mean, I still think we're going higher. I don't know why I think that. But I'm not going to take a trade going into the New York Open, which is the white dash line here. So I'm just kind of in a no trade zone right now. Just going to be patient. I'm not repeating the mistakes I made yesterday. So I've been really good today about not doing that. I was a little too careful on both my wins, or both my trades today. I had a win here. I only took 7 ticks. I was worried about this resistance. I didn't have it drawn at the time I took the trade. And I entered here, and as it started to go, I put my stop at break even +1 just to like ensure I don't get a loss. And I got out break even +1. Actually, I think it gave me slippage, so it wasn't even break even +1. And then I re-entered. I re-entered so high, and I realized, like, wait a second, what are you doing? You're re-entering right at potential resistance right there. So I got out +7 ticks. Or I think it was more than 7 ticks, but then minus whatever I lost here turned into basically a 7-tick trade. And so it didn't stick with that long enough. And then here, had a first attempt longer, second attempt longer that failed, went lower, and then I was taking a lower high off of what looked like a pretty decent trend. And I had a measured move down that I was looking for based off of this first leg down, thinking we're going to go meet second leg down. So I had the context, took the trade, tried to give it some patience and some room to work. I knew I had some resistance right here or support, and I had my profit right there. And unfortunately, it didn't quite get to my profit target, came back, stopped me out, and then went and would have worked for my profit. So that's my day. And then this was a exactly break-even trade. So gave back $4 in commissions basically, and that's why I'm up $23. Brandon says, what I'm starting to realize and see from the actions I've been taking is patience. Waiting for the good setups is when I make money. I agree with you, Brandon, 100%. 100%. And like this week is like a prime example of exactly that for me. Last week, I had 5 trades for the week. I didn't take a loss. I think I had more than 5, but there was a couple break evens, and I'm not keeping track of break even trades. That's why it says 1-0 today, even though I've entered twice. But I agree. Last week, the difference between last week and this week for me, last week, I was so patient. I was willing to pass up any setup that I didn't have like a contextual reason that supports the setup, like have a reason to be going short and then get the setup to go short, or, vice versa. And so I really just was really good at filtering trades. And I mean, 5 trades isn't a lot for the week, average 1 a day, but I had a profitable week. I was up over $1,000 between the accumulation of my accounts, and it was a good week. And it was just simply from being patient, being able to pass up on trades anytime I didn't have a good understanding of what the context was, just to not take the setup and only take the setups when I was like, okay, I have a reason to believe this is what the market's doing. I have a setup that supports it with room, and I take the trade and I'd win. This week, I don't know, Monday I started off 1-1. It was a red day on 2 accounts, a green day on 2 accounts. Didn't really feel good about the day. And then Tuesday, disaster. I was 4 trades, lost all 4. And that's how I really did damage to all these accounts across the board. And then yesterday, I don't know what I was thinking, but literally my first trade I took according to my strategy. It didn't work. And I immediately entered after I lost in the opposite direction, lost that trade too. And from that point, I actually did take 2 good trades after that, but I was still red. And, but I was just a little red. And then after that, I was just entering trades just, for no apparent good reason. I was going counter trend. It was ridiculous. I mean, if you watch my live stream yesterday, go back and, I mean, it's just like, I wasn't trading. It was like somebody else was trading my account. I mean, it was just somebody else took over. I don't know what happened to me, but I just had kind of like a fuck it mentality and, just trying things. Oh, I'll try this, I'll try that. And I took, I don't know how many trades. I mean, so many, like 8 trades, I think yesterday, plus some I didn't even count because there was like one that I took a loss, but one I took a win, and they kind of cancel each other out. So I just didn't mark them because I was taking so many trades. But I took like over 8 trades. I think I entered 10, 11, 12 times yesterday. And man, that was just terrible. The only thing I did right yesterday was I turned the trade copier off. And so that's why account 11 is the only account that's really in bad shape. And I remind you, this is the account that I was up $1,400 on the account. I was $1,200 away from a payout, and I just completely wrecked it. And now I have less than 300 in drawdown. So I really it was a disaster. I just destroyed that. All right, so we finally did make this measured move down. 1 leg down, 2 legs down. So it took a lot to get there. I mean, talk about taking the stairs down. But so, this is a good example. The context of my trade was right. The context of the setup, or the setup with the context. But it just, was going into some support levels and couldn't break through, and I got up break even, but it was the right idea. At this point, when it started going back up, I was starting to think maybe we were going to go back up. So I wasn't looking for a short, but in hindsight, this looks like a pretty good short. That's the only other trade I see that I could have even considered taking. But yeah, just tough days. So now my strategy is I'm just concentrating on account 13 because to me, I'm on a mission for payouts, and 13 is the account that's giving me, or that is going to be the closest to getting me there. So I'm going to be focusing on 13, and I'm going to put the other accounts kind of on the side track for now. And when I get a little bit more comfortable with what the market's doing, I just feel like this week, I don't know, the market's just irrational. The ATR is super high, the volatility. I mean, 75 ATR, and that's ticks, 75 ticks ATR on a 1-minute chart. When I started the day, it was like 105. I'd say normal days, it's like, especially this time of day, it's like 30 to 40 ticks. So just got to be careful in this market. It's a really dangerous market. And so yeah, I'm just going to trade one account at a time until I feel like I get a feel for the market, or the volatility comes down a bit, and have some kind of more rational idea of what this market's doing. Because now, I mean, what was looking like a very bullish bar is, for the daily chart, is, not looking that great anymore. I thought we were getting a nice bounce off of this old resistance turn support level. That's what it looked like, but now it's looking less powerful. Brandon says that's smart, only good setups. Yeah, I think for me anyway, that's the only way I've ever been able to trade where I do well. The problem with it is that I don't let my trades run very much. I'm pretty quick to take my profits, too quick. I mean, especially judging from this trade. I was so, I was so feeling unsure about myself taking this trade after my last 3 days. I really just gave it no room to work. And so I got taken out right away. It was like a small red. And then I re-entered, which was good, but I re-entered, too high, and I was too nervous about potential support right there. So, again, I didn't let it work, but if I just let the trade work, this trade could have easily gotten me 20 points, and let's say I only got, 3/4 of it, I could have got 15 points. So that's the problem is that I'm running up against is when I only get, one trade a day, and if I'm only taking, 26 ticks or sometimes less, sometimes a little bit more, but whatever, on one account, I'm not making a lot of progress very fast, and it's challenging to keep that up day after day after day, where you're making just small amounts of money day after day after day, and you see other traders taking a lot more trades, and you just feel like, oh, I need to take more trades. But taking more trades isn't an answer for me. I don't do well doing that. I just tend to take trades that don't work for whatever reason. And once I'm in a hole, I have a harder time. Usually I won't even continue trading on the same account if I take a red, because usually I don't get it back. Usually I just dig myself a bigger hole. So taking more trades isn't the answer for me. And if I try to go for bigger targets, that's usually not the answer for me too, because, like something like this, like maybe I'm going for this measured move, put my target down here. Well, you get taken out over here or very close to it. What's the high? 47.50. What's the high here? Yeah, the high here is 45.25. So maybe if I'm going for a bigger target all the way to where my target is, look, it eventually gets there. But if I'd really try to stay in there for that, well, it's going to take it all back. I'm going to be taken out of the trade, and then it's going to go. So I'm going to end up with a loss, and it went to my target, but then, so I can't trade that way either. It doesn't work for me. This is a perfect example of that. Like, this was my target. It reached my target, but I would have lost the trade before it reached it. So the only thing I figured out how to do that works to a degree is pick and choose my setups. Only take the best of the best of the best setups. It has to I have to have a reason to be going in that direction. The setup has to support the context. The context has to support the setup. And then take my scalps, take what I can take, try to target, essentially try to target support or resistance areas as my targets, which is what I was trying to do here. I had my profit target like right ahead of this support level. And, but I moved my stop down, as soon as it was moving in my favor. I moved my stop down to break even, just to ensure that it doesn't just bounce and essentially do this, but over here. So, it's the only thing I think to do. Brandon says, I'm thinking long-term now with Apex. If you're at 200, 250 a day per account, then stop for the day. Overtrading is what gets me. Yeah, well, honestly, that's all you really need if you think about it. If you can make $250 a day, and you have to trade for 10 days anyways. So $250 a day, if you can do that consistently, it takes you 11 days to get to a payout, Is that right? Yeah, 11 days, because 10 days is 2,500, and then the 11th day you make another 250, you could request a payout. So I think that that is the way to go, and that's my mentality too. The problem I have is like one trade a day is not 250 a day in general for me on one contract. And that's why I used to trade two contracts, but then I'm realizing with the large volatility and ATR and everything, I could be risking $900 a trade on two contracts. So it's too much for the drawdown. So I lowered it to one contract now. Brendan says, why I say that is you can take half of that total per 10 days or once a month, build the confidence. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I get to a level where I could take a payout, I'm going to take the full 2,000 out of the account because I'm in for $3,000. So I'm going to take as much money as I can get as soon as I can get it. I'm not sure if that's what you meant, but Brandon says, have you tried hyperscalping? Yeah, well, essentially yesterday it was kind of a version of me trying to do hyperscalping, but it's just hyperscalping to me gets into over trading. And then like it might work for a certain amount of time, but when do you stop? When it's going well, you want to keep going. And when it's not going well, you want to get it back. And eventually you take so many trades that in my experience, I just end up in a big hole. If I start off doing well, I give it back, hyperscalping, and but usually hyperscalping, I'm not being very meticulous with my entries, and so then I just don't trade well that way. When I'm not like being very careful about what my entries are that I'm taking, I just end up taking bad trades. So yeah, how about you? Have you tried it? That's been my experience. Let's see here. Do we have some kind of trend here? Not really. Yeah. So what I promised myself after yesterday is that I'm going to do what I was doing last week. That was working for me, even though it's not working fast. It's not making me a lot of money. It's not, I'm not going to get to a payout really fast. But what was working was that when I was taking a trade, I was winning. And I had the mindset at the end of the week, like, yeah, this is what I need to do. And then, I don't know, the market changed and my brain went haywire. But the thing that I was telling myself at the end of last week is the thing I'm now telling myself again, but I'm like really trying to enforce. Like, there's no reason for me to ever take a trade unless I have a clear reason to think that the market is moving a certain way for a certain destination. And I'll never be 100% correct about that. But if I have at least that and I have a setup that's going in that direction that has room and it makes sense for it, those are the trades and the only trades I should be taking. And otherwise, my job is to sit here and just wait and watch and observe. And if I can figure out other setups to take in the meantime, by observing and looking for what other patterns, whatever works, then, maybe I can start trying other setups. But right now I have a pretty solid, clear idea of what the setups are that work for me. Brandon says, I do it off limit orders, wick tests. Yeah, I've seen people trade that way. And it's interesting because I see it work a lot, but I don't think, it's just my opinion, by the way, in what I've observed from other people trading that way, and I've seen them trading that way on YouTube, it works a lot and you can make a lot of money. But when it doesn't work, the stops are really arbitrary. And so it's like, where do you put the stops? Because sometimes if you put the stop far enough out, it'll still end up working. But if you put it too close, you'll take a loss, and then it would have worked anyway, and then it can mess with you in that way. But in my opinion, it seems like those setups are more like 70% type setups. Like I feel like they'll win 7 out of 10 times, and you can make really good money on those 7 times. But then the times that they don't work, like I've seen traders that there's no like hard fast rule where you put your stop on those trades from what I've seen. And so, I've seen people just not be able to get out of a bad trade and just blow accounts. So I'd be interested what your strategy is, how you take your losses or where you put your stops when you're doing those wick test orders. Because I just haven't been able to figure out a way. I mean, I like the idea of it and the strategy of it, but I don't like the trade management of it because it seems like unless like if this is a wick test, right, that you would use a previous wick as one tick above that one would be your stop maybe, but that might create huge stops in some scenarios. So I'm not really sure. Or you could just always say like, okay, my stop is always 40 ticks. But in a market where you have a 76 tick ATR on a 1 minute chart, 40 ticks, you can get hit by 40 ticks easily, and the trade was still good, but you were at 40 ticks. So I don't know. Brandon says my risk reward is profit 100, risk 300, have to give it room to breathe, or 200 and 600. Yeah, so you just do a standard kind of 3-to-1, which makes sense. I mean, I in theory like that, but it just seems kind of arbitrary, because the way the price action is moving, there might be a reason that to put the stop where you might have to risk 350 or something, but you're just arbitrarily putting it to a dollar amount. But these bars don't move caring about that. So, but I get it. I mean, I think it's not a bad system. Yeah. I mean, the thing ultimately is we all just have to find what we think is working best for us, for our experience. And then, yeah, Brandon says trades by Matt does it off the 5 minute, and I did the same. 1 minute is too inconsistent. Yeah, I know. The 5 minute, the issue I have with the 5 minute and trading on it is like these bars, the ATR is 174 ticks. Each bar, the average true range for the last, I think it's set to 21 bars, 174 ticks per bar. So, it's, these bars move, especially in a high volatility market, these bars move so much that to get your, 3-to-1 risk reward, going for $100, it's like you could be taken out so easily, whether it works or not. So Brandon says you're right though, it does not work all the time. Yeah, I mean it's like, I think it's like any other strategy. Like nothing's going to work all the time. Like there's no strategy that I think is going to work all the time. That's maybe a not bad short there. I wasn't paying attention. Or I wasn't even on the chart, I guess. But yeah, no strategy is going to work all the time. Like nothing's 100%. Nothing in life is 100%. And like even like our ability to like read the market, if you're a price action trader, like nothing's going to be 100%. There's no rule or pattern or anything that is always going to work. On the 5 minute chart. Oh yeah. Yeah. So for me, this actually was a good trade if I was paying attention, because this is a new low. You have a first attempt to go down here and a second attempt to go down right at the previous day's high. You touch the outside Bollinger. You've got plenty of room to the midline at the very least of the Bollinger. That's not a bad trade. That's like a known level. Kind of like that. That's all right. So, but yeah, I kind of like that style of trading. I just haven't figured out, Brandon, how to make it work for me, because It's kind of like a contrary. It's kind of like a contrariness to it, right? Taking those wick tests. So I'm like, my brain works the opposite, where I'm like I'm looking for like confirmations to enter a trade. So I'm waiting for bars to do something that gives me a confirmation that's going to continue moving in that direction. I'm getting a phone call. Let me grab this real quick. I just on the phone. Man, it's 12:30. Market closes in 30 minutes. So essentially a break-even kind of day. I was on the phone. I was watching this, kind of considering along there, but there's too many things. I wasn't able to think clearly while I was having a phone conversation, so I just decided I'm not going to even consider taking a trade there. And man, it would have been an excellent trade. Obviously, I probably likely would not have gotten all of that or even a big part of that. I probably would have just tried to get out at the SMA or something, or maybe the previous day high line. But I'll take a non-red day, so it'll be the first non-red day of the week, and that's all right with me. Stick around a little while longer here. So now I've got these trade days wrong. This should be 24 according to Apex, and this should be 17. Not sure why that is, but that's how they're showing it. I was just double checking to make sure I had the days right. And then this is the 5th day today on this account. Not sure how I messed that up, but all right. So I believe I would expect a retest of the high, but I'd wait for probably a second entry long above the opening price, not just a first entry, second entry failure. Maybe it's not bad. It's just I don't like trading into the open price. Maybe if it pulls back again and it gives me an entry for a long. Could even argue this is why I didn't want to take it off the failure. We'll see what happens here. If this recovers strong, or it'll just keep going down, it won't matter. $118 tick bar. 125. I mean, Jesus. 79 tick ATR still. getting into that point of the day where it's going to be even more volatile again. Last 25 minutes. Not where I want the long here. Long off the 50 in the bottom Bollinger maybe. What's the previous day high? Gives a setup. Might consider this. It's more than 2 legs down. I think it's a decent trade off the 50. If it triggers. Guess it's not going to trigger. Strong push through the midline too. It's just not, it's looking bearish. I'll take along here. This is off that level maybe. But right into this pretty sharp sell off. Yeah, look, it ticked one tick up and then failed immediately. And no, I guess it didn't go higher. 50-50. Same top. I thought this was one tick above. It's not. Be a good buy off that level though, huh? So much downward pressure. Bodies are even here. I'm not taking this long. Maybe it works, but only 3.5 points so far. Last 15 minutes in the market. It was a failure here, but it was going right into this level, so I just left it alone. Just kind of like observing something with the Bollinger. See if maybe there's a way I can trade. A different setup with the Bollinger exclusively. Sell off. Coming all the way back. It's ugly. It's an ugly market. Look at that on the 2-minute. It's not the market we remember from last week and past year. Or it just recovers after sell-off. It's just not, it's not the same market anymore. Here comes Murderbot. 10 seconds. And so all day we had ATR over 70 plus, 75 plus the whole day. Really large bars most of the day. All right, so I'm not going to trade this last 10 minutes for sure. So I'm going to cut it off here. Don't forget the 80% discount goes on till the end of the month. You can see all the details over here. And want a small win. I'll take it. Up 23 bucks. Better than red for the past 3 days before this. And be back at it tomorrow. I mean, I'm going to start my streams later like I did today. So the earliest I'll be here is probably like 10:30 Eastern. All right, I'm out of here.